Okay, we're on air. My name is Robert Warburton. I go by Lashiavaher on the forums and Second Life and pretty much everywhere else that I hang out online. Tonight we are continuing my in-person campaign, the Gears of Heaven. It's a Monster of the Week campaign. A Monster Week is a RPG developed by Michael Sands and Steve Hickey and is available through your favorite comic book or gaming establishment or online at evilhat.com. This game is part of the Keepers Fellowship, a Discord server that we have set up to share ideas on, being the keeper for Monster of the Week, resources and, keep GMing tips and all that sort of thing. I will be your keeper tonight, and why don't we go down the list, and each of you guys can introduce yourself and your character you'll be playing, and we'll go down the list as I see it on the screen. So, Denny, you want to go first?
All right, my name is Denny. I go by I Walk to Mordor on Discord. My character for this campaign is Joseph Fletcher. He is the expert archetype, and he is the librarian in the town of Madison, Indiana.
That's correct. 1953, Madison, Indiana.
Yeah.
Right, and Mike?
Hello. I go by Domino online mostly, and I am playing Biff, the holier-than-thou conspiracy theorist.
Well, technically, I think you are the chosen.
The chosen, yes.
But you tend to act as a conspiracy theorist.
Mostly, yeah.
Mostly. And Jen.
I'm Jennifer, and in the game I'm playing Mithril Steel, which is the initiate, a member of the Priory of Illumination and Execution or Defecation, whoever you want to talk to.
Something like that.
Just plain Illumination, really. And she's kind of it's like a good cult. They have magic, and they have, archaic fighting styles, but they're also good at modern fighting as well.
All right. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, both Biff Cannon and Mithril Steel are original players from my in-person, or original characters from my ongoing in-person campaign. This is the first live play session. 2 weeks ago, we did a session 0 where we brought in Denny from the online community and started mapping out what we're going to do here. This will be the first actual play session for this campaign, or for this campaign online. We have done, I believe, 3 or 4 total mysteries previously in a face-to-face format here at my house. During those mysteries, we started out fighting I think we started out fighting a spooky phenomenon, which was called the Spirit of the Void. Then you guys ended up in Alaska fighting a bunch of ghouls, and then you ended up traveling back in time to 1983 and 1953, and ended up fighting a bunch of Nazi werewolves, ex-Nazi werewolves, because it was just after World War II. Or shortly after World War, a few years after World War II. You guys managed to defeat the werewolves, undo their evil machinations, rescue all their prisoners, or most of them, and ended up going to get medical treatment at the local library of all places, where you met Joseph Fletcher. And he was, I suppose, astounded to learn that all of these things he's been reading about are real. So we're going to pick up in the library. What are you guys doing, and what are you guys thinking about it? You're all probably healed up for the most part. You've been here for maybe a few hours. What would you guys like to talk about?
Well,
Go ahead, Danny. Sorry.
Okay. I guess that Joseph is probably like sitting in a chair, sort of like, I guess wide-eyed, just sort of like thinking about what this means in the sense that, like, up until like a few hours ago, he was pretty sure that werewolves weren't real and they also weren't Nazis. So he's probably kind of like freaking out a little bit, just kind of like, I don't know if he thinks it might be a dream or something, but
Pinch me. Wake me up.
Trust me, Joseph, it's not a dream. It might, it's more like a nightmare.
Well, then I kind of want to wake up if that's cool with you.
If you figure out how to do it, you let us know.
I guess. So, they really were werewolves.
They really were, and they really are. I don't think that's the end of them.
Oh, God.
Raphael walks up, or rather hobbles up. He's a little bit injured, mostly, tended to, but, it's going to be a few weeks before he's completely recovered, and says, Madame Steele, perhaps we should send the team back to clean up the scene of the battle before the local constabulary become aware of what went down.
That's actually an excellent idea, and now that we're stronger, we should be able to take care of that. We still have the vehicle outside, correct?
Yeah, I believe you got a big old, Brothers White Bread truck. It's like a big white bread delivery truck. Still has a bunch of old moldy bread in the back, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, maybe we can find some old moldy ducks to throw it to.
You guys have been driving this thing around for a couple weeks now.
Okay, so we should go back. Would Joseph like to come with us so that he can actually see the, put some actual, touch the fur of the dead werewolf?
I guess so, yeah. Maybe that'll help with having this be real. Here, let me get a pen and paper real quick.
You guys sure these aren't Yetis, Sasquatch? Because could be.
Well, that could be where the myth starts.
That's right.
Where it has started in the past.
That's
You've heard of Bigfoot, right?
Well, yeah, I've read about some Native American legends about Sasquatches. But are they real?
Well, you saw the image of the huge werewolf. Don't you think seeing something like that from a distance, someone might have thought that might be how it got started?
I guess so. I mean,
usually the strangest stories are actually true.
Huh.
Truth is stranger than fiction.
I guess so. Yeah, let me get a pen and paper real quick so I can
I think you should bring a whole empty book.
Yeah, I have like a little journal that I have.
You actually probably have a pretty good quality Pentex camera in the library as well.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. What it?
35 millimeter.
Mm-hmm.
Color.
So yeah, should I bring that camera? Like, would that be okay? I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be fine. You're just not no sending it to the newspaper or anything like that.
Well, no, of course not. You guys do seem pretty secretive.
And if these are real werewolves, they're being made by the government, and the government is just keeping them from us to prevent mass hysteria.
Yeah, and you might not be able to get a good shot of William Dalton either.
All right. Here, let me go grab that real quick.
All right.
So he goes and gets the camera.
Okay, so who all is going back to the location?
I want to go. Take me.
The main team is going. You're not. Are you going to take your side team with you, or send them off to do anything else?
I think I need them at this point.
Okay, so
that's a pretty messy situation, and they're going to have other equipment that's probably in ways to take care of the bodies and things like that.
Sounds good. Bill Dalton has, after you guys were all relatively situated, he was not looking so well, and he refused all forms of medical treatment here for some reason. And at one point, you guys just turn around and he's just not there anymore. So perhaps he went off to take care of his own business and may return at some point.
Well, I think he probably has other medical needs than we have.
Yeah, his physiology is slightly different. All right, so you guys are able to pile back into the delivery van and rattle through town up onto the foothills of the nature preserve to where the old it was called I'm sorry, what?
Oh, I think he lost his connection.
Oh, we lost Mike or Denny?
We lost Mike. What are you doing, honey? I think he somehow I unplugged him.
Okay. Well,
we've got too many things daisy chained in between all the desks.
You can clue him in when he gets back in.
Oh, he's
coming back. All right. So your old delivery truck rattles through town. It's about two.
Honey, you just unplugged. You just turned off my monitor and my computer. No, not my computer. What did you do?
I can still hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
He flipped off a power switch.
But I just turned off your monitor then. So
he rebooted his computer. Okay. Anyway, so we're driving in the bread truck back towards the turkey shoot.
Yeah, the turkey shoot was at a place called Willow Sickle Lodge. It's probably 2:00 in the morning, and being 1953, there's not very many people out this time of night. So you're pretty much in luck. And also because it was kind of way out on the outskirts of town, nobody has, likely reported any gunshots or anything like that. So you should be fairly safe from the authorities showing up at any point unless something just goes horribly wrong. You pull the van up, the gravel crunches as the wheels come to a stop. You guys get out of the van. There is a large farmhouse with one of those like a porch, with the columns and the rails,
like the wraparound porch.
Yeah, like the wraparound porch with the old granny rocking chair and the spittoon and everything. And there's a large set of double doors with the screen door that's kind of like flapping loose in the wind. There's a gravel path that leads around back and down toward the gun range and the barn.
Well, where the barn is where everything took place, right. So we head back that way.
Okay, so describe the scene of gore that you come across to Denny. What does he see when he comes around the corner?
Well, there's a full moon, so everything is eerily illuminated by a glow of white light. And we come around, and he sees the barn that he saw in the vision, and he remembers maybe that there was a big wolf there, but not anymore. Now there's a dark pile of stuff on the ground, and as he draws closer, he can see that it looks sticky and tacky, and there's things kind of floating in it. Well, not floating, but just in it, little piles of fur, bone, and flesh.
Also, in addition to that, as you're walking down the path, there are several, human-looking bodies. They just gunshot wounds, sword wounds.
They're naked.
Yeah, naked, just laying on the side of the gravel path, bled out. But she's right. When you get down to by the barn, there is a large pile of gory meat that is tufts of fur, and claw, and teeth. You can see a bit of a wolfish snout sticking out from it. This thing kind of exploded and imploded on itself. How is Denny reacting to this?
So yeah, Joseph is.
Or Joseph.
Yeah, Joseph kind of takes in the scene. He straightens his glasses, just pushing the bridge up, and then almost immediately retches. He is not used to seeing this kind of gore. Like I guess he wasn't really expecting it to like. He was kind of expecting it was going to be a prank, but just seeing like all this gore and stuff, he just decides to immediately just throw up.
Even after the demonstration of magic, he still thinks it's a prank?
Well, he's trying to rationalize it, and you know, even though he's read all these books and stuff, he's still like a man of science, right? So he's not really like.
How old is Denny?
Joseph is like.
Joseph. Sorry, I'm tired tonight.
I'd say Joseph is around like 35.
35? Did he serve in the war? It only ended, about 7 years ago?
That's true. He might have.
There's gore, and then there's gore.
Yeah, I think that if he served in the war, it was probably more like a radio control, not necessarily a
paper pusher or something.
Yeah, yeah, like a more of a desk job type.
Perhaps you served at a supply depot in the USA. You never actually went.
Yeah, I never saw action.
Yeah.
So this is all very new.
Yeah, okay, so this is cool.
So he collects himself and he kind of like shakily lifts up the camera and starts like snapping some pictures of the bodies, the mass of just grossness in the center, I guess. Like I guess he's like starts taking some pictures. He kind of makes some notes. But yeah, he's really fascinated. Like once he gets past the initial like shock of it.
Okay, as Joseph is snapping pictures and taking down notes, the team began to gather the bodies on like stretchers and making a pile in a clearing out behind the barn. One of the guys rummages around and finds a couple cans of gasoline and begins, gathering, all the evidence and throwing it on the pile.
I think maybe it would be better to put that pile on top of the pile of gore.
Well, the gore is probably going to be moved back there too, and wheelbarrows. And
okay. All right.
Down this area. You don't want to set this on fire. You set the barn on fire, the house on fire. That's
well, that might be a good way to cover.
That's true. Burn the whole thing. That's up to you guys. You're in charge. What are you going to do?
That's what I'm going to say. I think
we're
going to torch the barn.
Torch the barn. Okay.
Put everything in the barn and torch it.
All right. You going to show Joseph the ritual device?
A ritual device?
You don't know about that yet, but they do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the post.
Remember, there's like a cellar, and they had the pens where they're keeping the prisoners, and then below that is like a ritual chamber with some really weird.
Oh, is that where the cloning stuff was going on?
Yeah.
Oh.
One.
Where was that? Where was that again?
That was in like the sub basement of the barn.
But if we burn it down, there will be no entry for that.
Well, that's probably a good thing. We don't want the rest of any of the Nazi werewolves that might be left to be able to get back down here, and we might be able to destroy that. So I say, take the gas down there, slosh it over everything, and start the fire in there.
I'm sorry, guys. What are you talking about?
That's a good Joseph response there.
We're burning this place down?
Well, here's
I'm
the
not
story.
for burning
Here's
the place down.
Story, Joseph. One of the werewolves that we were tracking, our friend Bill Dalton, who had to go off on his own business, has killed him multiple times, and we could not figure out how he was coming back. And when we visited this site originally, we explored below the barn and discovered that they had some sort of magical, arcane, demonic something ritual that was essentially cloning them. It was creating more and more werewolves. Evil Nazi werewolves.
Technically, what you probably figured out is that when one of them die, it would regenerate them.
So what does this look like? This ritual object.
Do you want me to describe it to him? As if you
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's going to describe to you a hexagonal shaped chamber of earth with a semi sort of domed apparatus that has these like vines that are kind of like a vine, kind of like a vein, but also kind of like a hose, that are just run all over the place. Toward the center of the dome on top, there was this pulsing gelatinous orb with a spiral sort of apparatus that came down into what looked kind of like a series of 5 pods that stretched out to the 5 cardinal points. When they found it, 2 of the pods were inflated with what looked like skeletons being grown inside of it, and one of the pods had an almost exact duplicate of the one werewolf that they had fought, nearly fully formed. As they were looking at it, it opened its eyes and started to struggle, and that's when they made with the axes and the fire and all that sort of thing. So this device is semi-biomechanical. It's covered in glyphs and runes that kind of glow and sparkle in the half-light, and it has been chopped, is devastated as much as it was possible to do in the amount of time they had.
But it still functions, obviously.
Maybe.
It may not.
Yeah,
but we don't know.
The odor that came out of it when you start chopping it was something between, axle grease and motor oil mixed with rose oil. I mean, it was disgusting and yet somewhat sweet.
Could I take a look at it? You said something about runes.
Since you brought your camera, let's get down there and record this, and then we need to destroy it so it can't be used again.
Understandable. Yeah, that makes sense, I guess.
All right, so you guys make your way through the barn. The interior of the barn, if I remember correctly, there's hanging hooks all over the place, some with chunks of meat on it. All of the animals, the horses, had been slaughtered and are mostly partially devoured.
Flies buzzing everywhere.
Yeah, it's disgusting. It smells really bad. You go down. There's a trap door in the back corner. You go down like an earthen ramp to a stone root cellar, and then down a short hallway to the pens. They're basically large jail cells or kennels where there was about 30 students from the local college penned up. And then down another flight of like wooden steps into this room. The room it reeks. You're able to hold your breakfast in if you've eaten, but it's not easy. It's the fumes coming off of this thing are noxious. There is a large central spindle coming up off the ground that connects to the gelatinous orb in the ceiling. There are what looks like little bits of tread that weave in and out and rotate very, very slowly. You can see the glyphs and runes on like the twisted columns of the main support. And there's like a lattice work of steel beams that connect a framework of each of the pods where the pods were. The pods have been chopped to pieces, and it looks like they're slowly knitting themselves back together.
See, still working.
Okay, so I set to work. I photographed like the gelatinous orb, the center there. I photographed some of like the markings. None of them like particularly pop out to me, but like if I take these back and develop the film and have them cross-reference.
It sounds to me like you guys are investigating a mystery.
Yeah.
You want to go ahead and roll our first roll of the night?
Okay.
Yeah, who wants the honors?
I'll try it. This is this will be the first Monster of the Week roll I've ever done. So.
Yeah, you do get the honors then.
Well, Joseph is definitely doing the investigation here at this point. You could dovetail off of this later with research in the library. But somebody can help out if you can think of a clever way to do so.
All right, so this would be investigative mystery.
Yeah. We also have a follow up on a clue, which is a different derivative of which just has a different set of questions. And this early in a mystery, I usually kind of go with that one, but they work the same way. You're going to roll you already rolled your dice?
Yeah, I got a 10, and then my sharp is +2, so that's 12.
If you had this an advanced move already, you'd be all kinds of golden. So you get to hold 2, and you can ask any of these questions, and you don't have to ask them now. But you now have those 2 points in the bank, 2 holds. So we'll put this up here. 2 holds for investigate mystery. Related to this, the mystery related to this particular device. And so the questions you can ask are, what caused this? What is being concealed here? Does this refute or affirm something I already know? What other clues are here that I have missed? What is the best way to learn more about this? Who else is caught up in this? What will this lead to or cause? And why was this done? Of course, not all of those make sense for this particular type of investigate, but as you find more clues, they might.
Okay.
And if you want to look at that, it's in the character roster under the moves tab.
I'm sorry. So
the character spreadsheet. Let me throw the link to that in the chat.
The one with all of our characters in it?
Yeah, there's a tab at the bottom called moves, and I've got I've got all of the base moves, and then I've got all of the moves from my previous online game in here. I meant to add all you guys' moves, but I just didn't get time over the last 2 weeks to do it. So this is going to be my electronic moves library for when we need to reference something.
So it's the character roster tab moves.
Tab is called moves, and if you the index is at the top. If you click on one of those moves, it gives you a little pop-up. If you click that little pop-up, it'll take you right to it.
Oh, awesome.
So I put this together.
Investigate a mystery?
Yeah, so investigate a mystery, but in this case, we're using follow-up on a clue.
Oh, okay, good, because the investigate mystery one's the link to it just been deleted.
Oh, well, maybe my links have gotten broken. I can fix those later. So
that too. I'm just going to scroll down. Okay.
Yeah, technically we can use either one. I tend to use follow up on a clue when we're just getting started and we don't know enough about the monster to really, have identified it yet. And then once we start to understand what the monster is, we can then start using the primary investigative mystery. It just adds a little more flavor, I think, to the investigation.
It says, too, on the Advanced 10+, you may ask the keeper any question you like related to the clue.
That is if you have this move as an advanced move.
Oh.
That is one. All moves, or most moves, have an advanced option. And if you have chosen that, one of your level up options is to pick a move to make it advanced after you have reached level 5. So you can mark this. You can mark follow up on a clue or investigate a mystery as advanced. I count either one, and you would then be able to use this as an advanced move. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so you now have 2 hold for investigate a mystery or follow up on a clue. If you want to ask a question now, you may. If you want to hold them for later, you can.
All right. So we already does Joseph already know what? I guess I'll go with what was it going to do?
Okay, you have actually, I'm going to tell you what it's going to do, and then I'm going to ask you to explain to me how you know that. So they are correct. It was going to regenerate these bodies. You can tell in some way that this device does not only exist here in this plane of existence, it seems to stretch into other realities, and it is able to collect souls that it has been attuned to, and it can regenerate the body and replace it back into action, more or less. However, this device has been corrupted. It is no longer its pure form. It has been perverted in some way, shape, or form. What is it you see about this that lets you know that?
I think that what Joseph sees in some of the on some of the symbols, he can recognize sort of one of the insignias of the 9 worlds of like Asgard, Midgard, like ancient like Norse, like some of those like the insignia of like ancient Norse like worlds. So he kind of gets this idea that this thing is somehow linked between other worlds, not necessarily Norse mythology, but like definitely not just this one world.
Where did we have a chamber that we saw that had different symbols from different things on it, or am I remembering from some TV show?
I think you did, and that was in not Bill Dalton. That was in Alexander Lifeson's tomb. And there was also a symbol that was carved into the base of the statue of Alexander Lifeson in the center of town. You do not recall off the top of your head if the symbols match these symbols.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you guys have you've got some idea about what this thing is and what it can do, and also that it is some kind of malignancy. It is definitely an evil thing. Joseph, you probably suspect that even though that its intention is to bring something back from the dead, what it brings back will probably not be exactly what was put in.
Okay.
So do you guys want to try to salvage this thing, or do you want to try to destroy it?
I think destroy it's the way to go.
Yeah, that's my feeling, especially since it's been corrupted. I mean, can we do another roll mystery thing?
Well, you already have an extra hold still. He's only
that's his though, isn't it?
Yeah, if you can tell me how you're going to investigate that's different than what he's done. Tell me how you're going to investigate. If you have a good way to investigate that we haven't already covered, then yes, I will give you another roll.
Let me think about it for a second. Because I'm not sure that we have discovered everything there is to discover about this yet.
What's his power?
That's definitely true.
Oh, see, that's definitely true. So, I mean, are there... I would want to be looking around the walls and looking in where the pods are and trying to see if there's anything else about this chamber that I can't see.
Okay, well, when you start poking around the walls, you will find that the walls are earthen or appear to be earthen, but at one point you catch a glint of something possibly metallic. And when you kind of fish around there, you see that there's a lead nail has been driven into the earthen wall, sort of, just straight into the wall. And then maybe 7 or 8 inches away, there's another one. And then 7 or 8 inches in another way, there's another one. There's a lattice work of these lead nails that have been driven into the wall all the way around, and it looks like even all the way up through the dome. They're probably 8 to 12 inches apart. In any direction from any one nail, you would find another one.
So I would kind of dig into the dirt around the nail to see what's holding it in, or if there's anything under there.
It's not. It's just been driven into the wall. I mean, you can actually pry it loose. It's in there pretty good, but you could get one out if you wanted to.
It sounds like something I would probably do. Yeah, I'm gonna dig one out.
All right, so you pull one of the nails out, and it's more like a railroad spike. If you've
That's
ever
what I'm
seen one of
thinking.
those.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like been hammered with a mallet into the wall, so it goes right into the clay. I mean, it's not just in the loose packed earth; it's going deep in there. And when you pull it out and kind of brush it off, you can see that there are also some glyphs on the nail itself, sort of around the body of the spike.
Are they similar to the glyphs that were in that big steel pole?
Yeah, they're definitely similar to those in such a way. Actually, Joseph, what is your primary areas of interest as an academic? In the occult, of course.
So as an academic, I guess I think he probably went to college for history, definitely. I think that was like what he got his degree in. But he's always been fascinated by ancient folklore. So while he knows like his history, he also is like more of his hobby is like reading about mythology and stuff.
So I think you would probably recognize this as being based on angelic script, like a really old dialect of angelic script, but it is all of the smooth all of the smoothness and flowing nature of angelic script has been replaced by almost what would look like a child drawing with a crayon. It's rough and it's exaggerated and it's gouged deep. There's no elegance to it.
So it's a corruption of angelic script.
Exactly.
Okay. Hold on.
Or somebody with hoofs trying to write.
Yeah. So, do I know what it's written with? Like, what the instrument was, or is it like gouged?
Actually, I mean, it's lead, so lead is a soft metal. You could use almost any sort of tool, but you don't see any tool marks per se.
So they're like. So maybe it was claw marks.
Claw would be a tool.
So is it like smooth on the metal?
Well, it's lead. It's been the impact of going through the earth is dented it in some way, shapes, or form, but it's almost like the material where these markings are just vanished.
Could I use my second hold and ask what caused this?
Yes, this was definitely. You feel an energy about it when you touch it, and it's very similar in nature to what you saw Mithril Steel do back in the library. That energy you felt then, that raised the hairs on your arms, you can still feel trace elements of that here. So magic was used to create these, or to enchant them in some way, shape, or form.
All right. Yeah. So if it's engraved in there, would it? I tear like a piece of paper and kind of try to like do like a rubbing almost with
Sure.
like my pencil.
Sure, you can do a rubbing. You said you brought paper and pencils, so no problem. You were able to make some
pull out
rubbing.
another one and see if they're identical.
Are you going to pull out the one right next to it, or from a different location?
I've moved off a few feet by now. I'm pulling one from maybe 3 feet away.
All right, so you pull another one out. They are, I mean, aside from damage from being driven into the earth, they are identical. Maybe this one hit a small pebble there, or that. They're not pristinely identical, but they at some point probably were.
But the symbols are identical.
The symbols are identical. The metal, the nail, the shape, size.
I have no idea what these are for. I'm guessing they're some kind of a conductor. Although lead is not very. Is lead conductive?
Very.
Very.
Mr. Conspiracy Theory. The ideas?
It's something to do with the ritual, I think, because it has this angelic, cryptic writing, and it's placed so far apart.
Precisely
So far apart in this wall. So maybe that's the hammer and nail in the wall, and a werewolf appears. I don't know. It could happen. Or a fly dies.
Gnats.
Yeah,
definitely.
there's a little moth or something.
Something about this writing feels a little similar to your spell, the spell that you did in the library, Mithril.
I can feel that there's magic having been used here, but it doesn't feel like the same kind of magic.
No, it's not the same kind of magic, but it's definitely magic.
It bothers me that there are so many of them and that they are all around us.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that this thing, it seems like it's linked to other worlds. Like these runes here, they like hint at the fact that this thing's linked to other worlds.
So, do you think if there's a way if this is linked to other worlds, could this also be a portal of some way to go to those other worlds?
I think it might be possible. You said that this thing created a fully formed werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
It creates a fully formed clone and pulls the soul back into it, somewhat modified.
Yeah, but where is this soul coming from?
From the original werewolf. Or the original being that is being created. I mean, who's to say this is just a werewolf creator? Maybe werewolves were just what was used this time.
Right. I mean, it seems to be. Am I right in saying that this is like an amalgamation of human and magical technology?
This is
or angelic or clockwork gods or
this is something unlike anything you've ever seen in any of your books. There are no books about this kind of stuff, but there are elements of it that lead you to think about angels and demons. That's for sure. But also, sci-fi, biomechanical monstrosities that maybe you've read some of these Penny Dreadfuls and things like that.
Right. But
Mithril's really wishing she had access to the Priory archives right about now, because I'm sure there's some ancient book in there with these symbols in it. I'm sure I've seen it.
The nearest Priory archive would be in the Scottish Rite Cathedral in Indianapolis. So probably about a 2 or 3 hour drive away from here. Actually, at this time period with how fast your car, I'd say 3 or 4 hours. I don't think we have interstate yet.
In the 50s, sure there were.
Take the railroad.
Yeah, you can take a railroad.
Well, I could see why the Nazis would be interested in this technology. Being able to grow an army of killing machines.
Oh yeah.
Right in America, right in the heart of America.
Well, not only that, I mean, a way to transport Hitler's soul into another body. Who's to say he's really dead?
That's true.
This is getting worse and worse the more I think about it.
So are you saying they're feeding this thing Jews?
Yeah, I mean, we had all those Jewish students.
Yeah. I think we should head back to the library. We should probably get rid of this. I need to develop this film, and maybe that'll tell us some more.
Just out of curiosity, did they have color cameras back then?
Yeah, they did have not on the scale that we have today. They did have film cameras, and I believe I don't know when was color film invented. It definitely had black and white.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But I have either way we have a picture, but that's
1935. Color film was invented. So yeah,
We got color
film.
I would imagine, yeah, because if this is like an official library computer or an official library
camera.
Yeah, right.
It'll be pretty nice.
What's a computer?
They're pretty
Well, they had
expensive.
those, but yeah, they were like full or room size.
Yeah.
All right, Raphael's team reports that the site has been cleaned up. All of the bodies and evidence that they've been able to find has been piled up in the barn, and they're ready to torch the place.
Oh man, I really want to torch this place.
I just don't feel right about leaving it here. What do you think? Do you think it's? I mean, look at it.
What
It's
happens if you
already
don't?
regenerating. All right, we could have more of these creatures to deal with straight out of here.
Yeah. We should
That's
probably.
the point.
I mean, I can't. We don't have any way. I don't think we have explosives or anything. I don't think there's any way to seal it off.
Can we just blow it up?
Well, we could.
Do you say that out loud about explosives?
Yeah,
Yes.
I do.
One of your guys, what's his name? Let me see. Andre will say there are some crates of dynamite up in the barn.
Aha! I'll go grab the dynamite.
Is anybody skilled enough with that dynamite to seal this place off and destroy the barn without completely destroying this room?
No.
Not necessarily. No.
Well, I see. Let's give it a try. Let's try sealing this room off, and then the barn goes up.
All right.
Seal this room off. How do you get down in this room? It's through a hatch, right?
Yeah, it's under the barn. There's a trap door that leads
Yeah.
down to the root cellar, and then there's a earthen ramp that's been layered with a wooden staircase that leads down this. It's been tunneled out.
Yeah, we need to collapse that tunnel.
Okay.
Collapse that tunnel, and then blow up the barn on top of it.
All right. So where are you planning on placing the dynamite? At the entrance to this tunnel, nearest the machine, or nearest the like the pen, or nearest the uppermost part where the barn is?
Well, are there wood
I
supports
think-
along the wall in the tunnel?
Yeah, there are. It's
All
like
right,
it's
so-
like an old timey mine.
I suggest we place it in the middle of the tunnel.
Right, I'm going to say leave the first two supports, and then on each support on our way out.
All right, fair enough. Okay, so you guys place your explosive materials. I suppose you like run some sort of a fuse up into the main room so that it will light.
Well,
when
yeah, I
you-
mean, it comes with one of those boxes with a handle that says TNT right on it. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
somebody's
I'm
going to have
sure.
to push that down.
Yeah, you guys aren't under any pressure here, so I think between your guys and you're able to figure this out without any mayhaps. You're able to explode the tunnel, and the back half of the stables collapses. And, as the ground sort of gives way. A lot of dust blows up through that hatch and everything, and you guys set the. Or I suppose you set the bodies on fire to immolate the entire barn in the area, and it goes up and becomes a roaring inferno. What are you guys
That's
going to do?
We should probably get out of here.
Yeah.
Yep, time to go.
Definitely get out.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys driving away, and as you're driving away from the scene, as you're pulling out up the gravel lane back towards up the gravel lane that runs about a quarter mile to the main road, the camera pans up to the roof of the old farmhouse where a pair of glowing eyes blink once, twice, and then the camera fades to black.
I didn't know there was a camera. Ooh.
All right, so this game is supposed to be somewhat cinematic, and as we get more and more used to it, I will throw, just like I did in the scene with the werewolf battle, I'll throw a lot of fictional prompts to you guys where you can illustrate, what's going on and make it really paint a picture with words. So
Okay.
you guys are able to get back to the library without any incident. No cops. I see a cat.
See you with the kitty.
No
Oh,
cops.
baby boy.
no cops around your tail. There's no major issues. It is, I'd say that took several hours. So the sun is probably starting to come up. It's early morning, probably about 6 o'clock.
Okay. I guess I should take the. I'm not too familiar with how film cameras work, but I would imagine I'd want to get the film to the dark room pretty quick.
Yeah, I believe you probably have a dark room in the library. It's
It's got to be part of your hobbies.
yeah. So it's.
You're an expert, right? So that's one of your things.
Remind me what features does your Haven have?
My Haven has a lore library, a panic room, and an infirmary.
Ah, very cool, very cool. Okay, so not necessarily a dark room, but we'll just say one's there. It's not a major deal.
Yeah.
So you're able to develop the photos.
Well, it's good. Yeah, the panic room is probably got the dark room in it, since you can totally shut it off.
Actually, that's a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
So,
Plus, the library is like all about preserving the history. So.
It's also the seat of the Historical Society.
Yeah. I actually looked that up.
All right, so you're in the dark room, developing the materials. What are you having your team do, Mithril?
I would like to send Raphael, since he's the most injured, back to Indianapolis. Okay, to see what he can find in the archives.
Oh, very good idea. Very good idea. Okay, so Raphael's going to take the train out at 11 o'clock in the morning. So he heads off to gather his things and head to the train station. Actually, a bus. He's going to take a bus. So there's a city bus that runs. He'll connect up to Fort Wayne or something like that. Not Fort Wayne. It's too far away. Anyway, he'll get there. It'll take him a day to get up there, and he'll be able to report in by phone in a couple of days. Where are you guys going to be staying? How's he going to contact you?
Is there a phone in the library?
Actually, there would be a phone in the library.
I mean, right now we don't have a place to stay because we were staying with Bill, but that got taken over.
Right, and you were then staying at a local Motel 6 or something to that effect outside of town.
But that's the one is that the one he jumped out of? No, that was a different one.
Yeah, I think that's a different one. Yeah, that's like a ritzy hotel downtown that he jumped off of.
Do we still have our rooms at the Motel 6, or did we move out?
Yeah, I think you probably have a couple rooms there. You've been kind of hanging out there, but you're trying to keep a low profile. So I'd say you probably have some gear in those rooms.
Well, I'd say I don't know. It seems to me like after this busy night, we should probably rest.
I agree.
All right, so you're going to circle back in the morning, or per se, or maybe in the evening.
Because this is also an awful lot for poor Joseph to take in.
Yeah.
He's probably going to collapse right after he gets done developing.
Take a shower.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, take a bath,
And you can take a shot.
Yeah. Definitely.
I recall that Joseph actually lives at the. I know you have an apartment nearby, if I remember correctly.
I don't remember if it was up in the attic or if it was like part of the library.
Did we decide?
I don't remember if we actually decided that.
Look in my notes here. No, I have here that the bomb shelter was walled off and you found it when you were remodeling the lore library, but we didn't.
That's the panic room.
Yeah, but I don't show where you were living.
Let's say that I have a apartment like next door or like across the street. Like it's really close by.
It's like the library has a little room or a little apartment for the chief librarian, the same way like a church has a little place for a priest to live,
Oh yeah, perfect.
Okay, so you have a little cubbyhole apartment in the library itself, which you don't get out much, do you?
Not a whole lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he's probably a regular at that diner where Saffron
Yeah,
was.
I show up at I'll show up to like major events, definitely. Like people kind of know my face, but I don't really talk to people that much.
One of those hiding in plain sight kind of guys.
Yeah. No one expects a librarian.
Right, Biff. Just before you leave the library, or rather, just before you leave the lore library, the inner sanctum, where you guys have been conferring and making your plans for meeting up again, you notice up on like an old dusty file cabinet, there is a clay tablet that has a marking on it that you have seen before in researching your hollow earth theory.
Aha. Let's check it out.
All right, so it's sitting there just up on top of a bunch of other books and papers, and
All right. I'm going to ask if he minds if I take a look at this.
Sure, go ahead.
Fantastic.
Just be careful, please.
You got it. I will reach
that's
up
the
with
property of the state.
reach up with my staff and drag it across until it falls into my hands.
I kind of watch that. I'm just like a little on edge. Just
You're probably wondering, where did that staff come from? It wasn't there a minute ago.
Yeah, true. I was kind of like clenching my fist a little, just like, oh, I really wish you didn't do it like that. But
Biff, you got to tell him the name of your staff.
Oh, it's the staff of the howling hatred.
I thought it was
The
a staff of
elemental-
demonic hatred.
The demonic hatred. That's right.
Yeah, the howling hatred.
Elemental staff of demonic hatred.
Yes, elemental staff of demonic hatred.
All right. So we're going to take a quick 5-minute break here. I got to use the restroom. If anyone else wants to take a minute to go
Okay.
do whatever, we'll come back at 10:45. Do you guys need more time? Is 5 minutes enough?
5 minutes should be fine for me.
All right, just quick. I mean, it's a short session now anyway. I don't want to take too much time off for breaks. So 5 minutes. Be back. 10:46. We'll get started again and continue on.
All right, sounds
Okie
good.
dokie. Everybody mute while you're gone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ready?
All right.
Welcome back.
Good to be back.
Sorry, I got a bit of a cold.
That's fine.
So what are you thinking of the mystery so far?
Pretty good. Since this is the first time I've ever played, it's kind of takes a little getting used to.
Well, it's actually starting off a little bit slow because, to be honest, we haven't even started the mystery yet. We're still doing sort of follow up on the previous mystery, which you weren't involved in. But this particular campaign is not what I would call your typical Monster of the Week campaign because we tend to sort of meander about sometimes. We spend a lot more time on investigating the mysteries and doing interesting sleuthing type of things.
We're inquiring minds. We want to know.
Yeah, it's like we like to find out why, and exploring what's going on in the world and things like that. We do a lot of fighting when we finally find the monster and all, but right now we're just getting started. Plus, I wanted to introduce your character and get you involved, and this seemed like a really good way to do it.
Yeah, definitely.
So, all right. So the next morning, I'm guessing that you and the team wakes up in their hotel. Joseph, you wake up in the library and begin preparing yourself some breakfast. Now, I'm going to guess that you probably wake up early because you have work to do. These guys have been up battling all night. They probably sleep much later. You guys all agree with
it's
that?
6 a.m. I mean, how is he going to wake up?
Yeah, he's probably getting a cat nap.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
to
he's
be
got to
fair,
open the library. What day of the week is it?
Good question. Let's say it is actually Saturday. Last night was Friday. No, actually, because it was actually Thursday. Now that I think about it, when you guys had the battle, so today would be Friday.
okay, yeah. I would imagine you also didn't really get that much of a good sleep after discovering that there's magic and werewolves and interdimensional regenerative chambers.
Yeah, I walked out going, "Sweet dreams, Joseph."
Yeah.
I want to check out this tablet.
Okay, so you can check out the tablet. There is not a lot about it for you to really glean information from, but it's really unusual. It's a clay, and it looks very, very old. This one side of it is just rough clay. The edges are kind of chipped and broken off, but the top side of it has a symbol, or rather almost like a hieroglyph of something you've seen before, which looks like a gateway to the underearth.
So I wanted to say that when I saw it, what drew my eye to it was an old symbol called the hooked X, and it was used by the Norse. They used to carve it in stones in their campgrounds and for their rituals and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and oddly enough, some of these symbols have been found around all over the world, not just in Europe. But I mean, some have been found in the USA, and some have been found in Asia. And point of fact, you now remember, remember how you had the flashback that you had been to that diner with your father back in the 80s, or the one that you visited in the 80s. There was a picture of you there with your father when you were a little boy in Madison, Indiana. And you now remember from back when you were like 4 years old, your father was here at that time searching for something related to the Hollow Earth. He never found it, or at least not that you recall, up until the time he disappeared.
Okay, maybe this is a clue to the gateway to the Hollow Earth.
Yeah, that's a clue.
I'm sorry, the what now? That's Joseph saying.
A clue to the Hollow Earth. The theory is that the Earth is hollow and there's aliens or mutants or something living inside the Earth.
That's his theory.
Okay.
Yeah, the guys in the Priory, the agents that work for Mithril, all kind of roll their eyes behind his back as he's saying these things. But Biff seems to believe it 100% that there's definitely gateways to the Underearth.
I mean, we believe there's gateways somewhere, but I'm not too sure about this whole hollow Earth thing.
You don't think of it all as hollow, but there's tunnels and caverns that lead into cities.
Maybe your hollow Earth is actually just extra-dimensional travel.
So I'm assuming you guys are all maybe sitting around the library having breakfast. You guys came over after grabbing a couple hours sleep.
Yeah, sounds good.
To be happening. Okay, about no, actually it's probably about 10 a.m. before the first customers come in, and it's a group of
so we just had a cat nap then. Okay.
Yeah, you guys had a quick cat nap to refresh, got a quick shower, wash the werewolf stink off of you and all that. And, a group of high school girls come in. It's like they're whispering something, very excitedly amongst each other. It's like, "Did you see? I actually saw it. It was." And then they just kind of they walk by off into the back stacks, whispering amongst themselves.
What now?
What sections of books are they headed towards?
They're just like going back into the nonfiction section. They're kind of on the back. There's like a big old fireplace, like a big old ornate fireplace in the brick wall, and then there's several stacks of books, the racks of books, and a couple of tables that run right along there, all the way against that far back wall. And they sit down at that table and they're whispering. They grab some books off the shelves and they pull out their backpacks with like papers, and they're all looks like they're doing homework, but they're all whispering excitedly to each other about something.
I'm gonna
I'll be like,
Mithril and say that. Do you think they saw the fire?
I don't know what they saw, but they're your age, so why don't you just mosey on over there and see if you can figure it out?
I got like the worst charm ever.
Well, roll your dice.
What would I investigate? A mystery or to listen?
This would probably be manipulated. Tell me what you want to do, what you want to accomplish here.
I want to nonchalantly walk over and go into books as well and try to eavesdrop on their conversation.
All right. So if you just want to try to eavesdrop, I'm gonna just have you maybe roll me a sharp. So 2d6 plus sharp, and you're just gonna try to casually, nonchalantly wheedle your way over there and see if you can overhear.
Sharp is +1. Sweet. Oh, it's a 5. Not so good.
Total of a 5.
Yeah. I don't speak Valley Girl, I guess.
Yeah,
well, you're not Valley.
They're speaking Midwestern, properly, but they all when they see you just so obviously walking over there towards them, they all stop talking and start giggling amongst themselves, and sort of snickering, and kind of one of them's kind of pointing in your direction.
Poor Biff is blushing.
Yeah. Walk away.
They start off. They actually pack up their books and they leave.
Oh God!
I kind of have been watching this whole thing from the front desk and just kind of like, nice.
I tried. Just shrug. Sorry, guys.
However, if they did see something, they might tell the police, or worse,
the press.
We should probably try and find out what they were talking about.
Yeah.
They didn't leave anything
really
behind,
worry
did they?
so much about it because we weren't seen.
Well, I'd still be, it may not be that they saw the fire. I mean, maybe they've seen something else. Maybe we haven't gotten everything.
Yeah, they said they saw a thing,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe if we
You want to send somebody from your little team to tell them?
or we could go around. We could look see if they saw it. Then maybe someone else saw something too outside.
You want to go to the soda pop shop?
Yeah, I was going to say that's probably a good idea. So we've got
Listen to the
Andre.
scuttlebutt.
That's a very good idea. I'm not going to make anybody roll. This morning, everybody is talking excitedly about a meteor strike north of town that happened last night or very early this morning, about 9 o'clock.
A meteor strike? Is that what took out our barn? Sweet.
I don't know. It could be something new that we don't know about.
This is true, but it would be a good excuse.
That's what you picked up. Is that a meteor strike? I'll even go as far as say that it actually hit the farm. The old Wicklesickle Lodge was completely decimated in a freak meteor strike. You guys all slept completely through it.
And it must have
our hands are washed of it.
Yeah, I guess it came after we left.
Really? It's not the crater that's caused by our dynamite? Or something else happened out there?
Well, that's what they're talking about is a meteor strike. Are you going to ask anybody about it?
Yeah, I'm going to ask the soda jerk.
Yeah, did you actually see a meteor? You saw something hit through the sky?
You'd ask the soda jerk. He's like, "Oh, well, you see, I heard it from my neighbor Stan, whose godson lives out that way, and he said the entire night sky lit up like bright as day for about 10 seconds, and it knocked all the dishes off the cabinet. It was the most peculiar thing. It's like the hand of God just came down and just swatted that old farm."
Damn! What time did this happen?
It's about 9:30.
I can't believe I slept through that. 9:30?
Actually, no. I say about 8:30. It's like it's like almost like the minute you guys went to sleep, kind of thing. It's like you guys all had to be like just laying down, and shutting your eyes right about that time.
Wow. We need to go back out there.
Yes, we do. Need to check the tunnel.
Yeah.
You guys got to go back out there?
Yeah, we got to go back out there.
All
because that's just, that's too coincidental.
All right, so you guys get the van together and you drive on back out there, and sure enough, there is a crater where that barn was. The house itself has also been flattened. It's been, maybe 80 or 90 yards around the barn's perimeter. All the trees and the materials have just been knocked flat.
So that means the chamber has been flattened too, hasn't it?
Well, there's just a big crater there where that barn was. Climb down into the crater.
You know it.
Well, how big is it?
The crater is probably 10 yards, but it's maybe this. I'm going to say it's about an acre in diameter.
That's a really big crater.
It's a pretty big crater. Yeah.
How deep is it?
It's maybe 30 foot deep at its deepest. No, actually, I'd say it's deeper than that. I say it's about 75 foot deep.
Can we see
I don't think we
down
can
there?
climb in there.
Yeah, it's a big chunk of ground has been exploded out all over the place.
Can we see anything in the middle of it?
There's a large chunk of something down there.
And has any does any bit of the tunnel that we filled in become exposed due to the impact, or is it a little bit too far in one direction?
Actually, you guys look around briefly, and there's some area. I mean, it's not perfectly smooth. It's not like a bowl has been scooped out of the ground. it's been exploded out. So there's chunks of rock. You can climb down in and around if you're careful. And you do not see any evidence that the cave has been exposed, but if your math is right, it looks like that entire, I mean, it's just gone. That rock or whatever it is at the bottom is sitting right on top of where that was.
Wow. Okay.
So the only thing we have left are the lead spikes that we took with us
Pretty much.
and the pictures.
In the pictures, that's correct.
Have you looked at the pictures? Are they developed yet?
Yes, he was able to develop them successfully. They are a little fuzzy, like almost like it was there, but it wasn't there. You know what I mean? It's almost like it's when you look at it, it's there and it's not there. So it's really hard to focus on it for a long period of time without getting a headache. But yeah, you can make out all the details if you really concentrate.
So whatever it was that was hiding this evidence didn't get that.
Did not get that, no.
Is there anything else out here for us to see? Is that a roll of mystery thing?
You can roll a mystery, investigate a mystery if you like. I think this is a whole new situation. But tell me what you're doing to investigate. I'm not just going to have you roll. I want you to know, I want you to tell me what you're doing. Are you collecting samples? Or you know?
Well, first of all, I'm gonna get out binoculars so I can get a good look at whatever it was that hit the ground. As best I can. And
Is
then,
the ground still smoking?
Yeah, and then, see if there's anything. See if we can detect any more of this magical stuff.
Okay, you get out your binoculars out of the van. That's how you got a pair of the kit. Yeah. Zoom in on it. There is a big blackened boulder. I mean, it's huge. Maybe the size of a Volkswagen or a small truck of some sort or another. It's half buried in the earth there. It's blackened and half melted. It seems to have like some veins of red pulsing through it.
Oh.
That doesn't look good. All right, I guess, I think we're going to have to go down there. I don't want to, but I don't see any way around this.
You don't want to just try to bury this thing?
Hey, come on, we're talking 75 feet down. How can we just bury it?
That would make it easier.
Yeah, take a lot of dirt.
And also an acre of...
Yeah.
An acre across, 75 feet deep.
This is likely to become a pond.
Okay.
Is there a...
It's the new... What was the name of this new Willisico pond?
Yeah. Is it is the incline like really sharp, or can we
No, it's fairly shallow. Like I said, with a little bit of caution, you can get down there without even making an act under pressure roll.
Okay.
All right, then down we go.
Red veins pulsing through it.
All right, as you get closer, there's definitely heat radiating off of this thing. Even the ground seems hard and baked. But you get up close to it, and there is the glowing, or the glow you saw actually seems to be coming off of a single section of it, and it's in the form of an angelic symbol, and it is slowly fading away.
So
take a picture.
Yeah, it pulses, and as it pulses less brightly each time.
All right, so I whip out my camera and snap a picture. Is this inscription, is this more like, is this angelic as in it's like very like flowy, or is it more like that corrupted script that we saw?
This is very flowy. I mean, you can see little intricate within the glow itself. You see like little intricate patterns that are like animated sort of within the glow itself. It's like almost like it's being like somebody's way up on the hill with a laser, doing a laser show on this thing. It's like really fine details scrolling in on itself and swirling patterns. And it fades it brightens and it fades and it brightens and it fades and it fades and it fades.
All right, so I have the picture of it.
You're able to get a picture, or you take several
How
pictures.
close to it can we get?
You're maybe 5 or 6 feet away before the heat gets uncomfortable enough that you don't really want to get too much closer.
Do we have any tools at our disposal that might be able to chip a piece off?
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Yeah, I'm gonna say you can. You got a chisel and a hammer. It's gonna be really uncomfortable. Actually, I'm gonna say you're gonna take one harm. Somebody could take one harm and go over there and chip off a chunk of it.
All right. Well, that's going to be Newman.
All right, Newman will go over and chip a chunk off, and he comes back and he's like, looks like he's about to suffer from heat stroke.
Wow.
So, well, great. We'll give him a canteen of water. Here you go, Newman. Thank you. So
Sweat's pouring off the poor guy. He looks like he's even got a sunburn.
I'm not surprised. So
Probably radiated too.
yeah. So is the rock, the piece that he brought back? Does it still have the red stuff in it? Is it still
No, the red
fluctuating?
stuff is very localized in the form of a symbol, an angelic symbol. Actually, 2 interlocking symbols to be exact.
Oh.
The chunk he broke off was like on a protrusion, not the main body of it.
Okay, so we'll just tuck that into a pouch for now to examine later.
Yeah, it's a pretty good chunk. It's about maybe the size of a brick.
And it's rapidly cooling, thank God.
It is it's cooling much more rapidly than the main body of it is.
Okay, so can Joseph decipher the angelic symbol?
Not without the help of his library. He did not tell me that angelic script was here, or angelic lore was his one of his focuses. So I assume he can recognize it as angelic script, but not specifically what it says.
Yeah, I probably have seen it in like a history book or something, but not.
Well, I guess we've seen all there is to see here, haven't we?
I would say so.
We're taking that with us, the piece of it?
We're taking a piece with us, yeah.
Okay.
Now, is there? Do you think maybe we could take it to the college nearby and see if they can analyze it?
Sure.
Sure. Is there anything?
The college nearby is more of a lit school, though. They probably wouldn't have like a lab.
They'd be like, "Ooh, a rock."
Yeah, right. There is a government base that is being built, but it's not completed yet. It's probably another case where you might want to ship it off to Indianapolis.
Yeah, damn it, too bad Raphael already left.
Yeah.
Or
We got 2 other guys. One of them can do it. Uh-oh. Is that you breaking up, or is it my microphone?
I didn't get that either.
Is it me? I don't know why. I'm not doing anything.
There's better.
There's better.
That's
Well,
good, yeah.
The screen is fluctuating too. The screen, like their connection is going bad because things are looking blurry.
I
Anyway.
have that happen sometimes. I just had to unplug my camera and plug it back in. It's like the USB port goes wonky on me.
Anyway, well, we're going to send poor Sunburn Newman on the bus to Indiana.
With a big
That's
chugger
the
up.
fix for everything. Send them in here.
All right. So you
Time
guys.
for a vacation for you, Newman. Off you go.
All right,
And we just have Andre left.
all right. So you guys get back to the library and discuss what you saw. I suppose you're going to look up that symbol. What does your lore library say? What's the rule on that? I don't have that in my sheet.
It says when you hit the books, take +1 forward to investigate the mystery as long as historical reference works are appropriate.
Okay, I think in this case, this would be a separate investigate mystery roll. You actually used both of your holds before, didn't you?
I did, yes.
Okay, so this would be a new investigate mystery roll. So if you want to go ahead and roll, 2d6 plus what is it, sharp?
Quick question about investigate a mystery holds. Since I was investigating, I made that roll to investigate the mysterious regenerative chamber.
Exactly.
does the hold only apply to questions based around that, or does it apply, or can that hold be used for a completely different aspect?
That's actually a really good question, and maybe we ought to post that into the Keepers Fellowship under the just to get other people's opinions. But in my game, the way I usually work it is, as long as the evidence that you are investigating or the materials you use to do the investigation makes sense in the context of the fiction, you can use it. So, for instance, the holds that you made with regards to the ritual chamber probably would not be, well, I don't know. It depends on the fiction you give me, how you're making it apply. I might and I might not allow it for investigating this rock, because they are actually related.
Okay.
They're related in a way.
All right. So I guess I'm taking the rock, and I'm taking the picture. Like, I'm like laying out the pictures, and I'm gonna take. Would angelic? What culture would that like apply to? That be like Judeo-Christian?
It would actually be pre-Sumerian.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So like really ancient, right?
Yeah, really ancient.
All right. So I guess I'll take a book. Pick up like a book.
Maybe Babylonian, pre-Babylonian.
Yeah, so really old, like pre-Gilgamesh,
Yeah.
would you say?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'd take like a book from like ancient Mesopotamia.
You actually have an obscure reference book that you got in a set of books from the Priory, actually, and one of them, has a bunch of angelic script notes in it, and you pull it off on the cover of this book. It's a leather-bound book with a bronze broken gear embedded in its cover, and like bronze angle pieces on the corners. You open it up, and there's a large sampling of script, very similar to that which you have in this picture.
Okay, so I'm gonna make the roll now then.
Okay.
And that's a 7 plus 2 is 9.
That's a 9. Okay. So you can ask one question from the list, and going back to my little list here is.
I hope this isn't the book I sent Raphael back to look up.
What caused? The book is out. We don't know what happened to it. What caused this? What is being concealed here? Does this refute or affirm something I already know? What other clues here have I missed? What is the best way to learn more about this? Who else is caught up in this? And what will this lead to? And why was this done? I think I'm going to add in, what does this mean?
Okay, so I'm looking at the symbol right now. So I guess I'll go with what does this mean?
Yeah, I'm giving you that one because I don't think any of these others particularly make a lot of sense in this case. You are able to translate the symbol as the Sword of Michael.
Really? The Archangel.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
And you find some notes that suggest it's not so much like a marking as it is more like a fingerprint.
Wow. All right. So should I read the? Is there like a passage or something about what the Sword of Michael is, or?
Well, you do know that Michael is like the sword of God. He is, in Judeo-Christian mythology anyway, he is an archangel that defeated Satan and all that sort of stuff. Everybody in recent history understands these things, but you recognize that the Michael or something to the effect of the Michael construct is a weapon that destroys corruption. Demonic corruption per se.
So I relay this information to Mithril and Biff. It could this asteroid have or this meteor have been sent to destroy whatever we found down there?
I think God wanted it gone.
Something sure did.
Yeah, they didn't want it blocked off. They made sure it was gone.
Mm-hmm. Smitten.
I think it's nothing but pain. It came from the God machine.
I'm sorry, God machine?
Oh, yeah, well, about that. Go ahead, Mike, explain it.
Yeah, I mean, we're dealing with angels, we're dealing with demons and werewolves and vampires, and it all seems to lead to the smell of oil, sweet smell of rose mixed in with it. Now we have the Archangel Michael. It's got to be coming from the God machine.
There's an
brings
ancient,
nothing but pain.
Yeah, there's an ancient religion or order that is like a sect of sects of sects that worships what they refer to as the God machine. It's some sort of alien entity that
the Knights of Saint
transcends time
Adrian.
and space.
It's an old conspiracy theory about the Knights of
actually,
Saint Adrian, kind of like the Priory of Sinai. You know, it goes way back, and they're renegade archangels.
So Michael is a renegade archangel?
No, he wasn't, but he was maybe destroying some,
Oh.
or their handiwork. That's
So,
my, theory.
Well, if that's true, then I guess whatever was plaguing this town had to have been, like, destroyed. I mean, that's an entire acre of land that was just purged, right? Like, it seems like they kind of did our work for us, you know?
Maybe.
Well, I mean, yeah, but why? It's kind of flabbergasting to me.
Yeah.
Because my sect, the Priory is a kind of a religious thing.
And you guys don't really have hardly any information about this. I mean, it's almost like it's been deleted from the records at the highest level. But you have seen things in recent months and weeks now to confirm that there's at least some truth to this.
Yeah, so it's pretty mind-boggling for me. And maybe it's been deleted or hidden. I mean, it could be that it's just not accessible to me at my current rank.
Would Raphael be able to uncover more?
I don't believe he will be able to, because Raphael is actually lower in the order now than I was. I don't think he'll have access to those things. And I suspect you're holding the book right now that I sent him to look up.
I guess so. Well, maybe we can kind of take a look at what... do any of you know anyone who could take a look at what this rock is? Maybe we could find...
Well, I thought we sent the rock with... the rock's on its way to the Priory.
Oh, right.
Remember, we sent it with Newman.
Yeah, it's going to take at least 48 hours to get any kind of response back on that.
Well, I'll tell you guys that the myth of the God machine, according to what I know, is it's protected by how do you call wyverns? The two-legged dragons?
Wyverns?
Wyverns. Yeah, let's prepare ourselves for those.
So you're saying that whatever that these when this thing touched down, something's going to come to reclaim it, or
I don't know. I'm saying this probably came from the God machine, and if we're going to destroy a God machine, that's what's going to be protecting it from the theories.
Right. More pressing though, what is the military? I don't think that if this is a weapon sent by God, I don't think that it should really be in the hands of any mortals. Least of all are a group that would want to use it to cause violence. We should probably keep an eye on it.
Well, you mean the rock itself? You think is the weapon? I thought the use of the rock was the weapon.
I mean, possibly. I don't know. I mean, did you see like that heat that it was radiating?
I figured that was just from coming through the atmosphere.
That could be true.
You might think to yourself, for a woman, she knows a lot about science.
For a woman.
Oh gosh, this is the 50s. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Well, come on. I know magic. I'm pretty sure that anything I say is going to be like, he's just going to accept it.
Yeah,
I'm just wondering if Joseph has picked up on any of the what they call that, anachronisms that you guys have been like dropping here and there about, like your former mentor who's now lower in the order and younger than you were.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't think you guys have told him anything about that yet.
Yeah, you're right. We didn't mention the whole time traveling aspect of this.
We don't have to do that just yet.
We've already boggled his mind.
You seem to. I mean, yeah. I guess that's what it could be. I don't know. Was that kind of knowledge of like atmosphere and stuff like a thing that was known in the 50s?
Well, yeah. I mean, because they had sent satellites up, right?
We've
Isn't
split
that when
the
Sputnik happened?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense then. Yeah.
Not that much has changed between then and now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's he might have been a little bit, when we described the mark as being, looking like a laser pointer, that might have thrown him.
Yeah. What? All right.
Lasers are things of science fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you guys basically, the town just all buzzing about this meteor strike, and nobody seems to know anything about or nobody's talking about the group of college kids that got released and are talking these crazy stories about werewolves and a group of people that rescued them and stuff. Everyone's like, man, it's just completely overshadowed by this meteor strike.
Maybe that's part of the plan.
Yeah. After sometime later that day, Dalton comes back and says he's working on getting the abode released from police investigation, because they've got evidence that points them at this group of outlaws that were holed up out at the old shooting range, that suggests that perhaps they were behind this stuff and not the person who was staying under the antique shop. So he's working diligently on that, and he will check back in when he has some more information.
How's he looking? Is he all healed up now?
Oh, he looks fine.
He's fed lately.
Yeah, he looks fine. His skin is almost glowing. You might think he's even pregnant.
God, I wish I was here to hear you say that.
Right. So,
well, wait. Should we reveal to Joseph that that's a genuine vampire?
Why not?
Joseph, can you handle another shock today?
I mean, I just found out that there is a divine weapon that can destroy a machine that's built by Nazi werewolves, so I'm sure that whatever you have can't be possibly be weirder than that.
I'd like to introduce you to our colleague, Bill Dalton. Bill, would you please come over here and smile really big for our new friend Joseph?
So I kind of like reach out my hand as she's saying this, like to like hi, how are you?
All right,
Like
this
shake
guy looks like a cowboy. I mean, he's got the leather duster and the cowboy hat, 6 guns on a belt with the bullets wrapped around him, and a kerchief, and he kind of tips his hat to you. He says,
Wow, you really got the
"A pleasure," and he looks to Mithril and says, "Ma'am, I'm not a trick pony." he spins around as if to walk out, and then he's just suddenly not there anymore.
well, okay. What was that? Was that like your traveling showman or something? What?
That's our buddy Bill.
Yeah,
He drops in every once in a while. And
that's Bill the vampire.
I'm sorry, Bill. The what now?
Bill the vampire.
Bill the vampire. Come on, we have werewolves. How can we not have vampires?
You're right.
I guess.
I was hoping he would show you his fangs, but
Wait,
he did that instead.
wait. That wasn't an act. He's
Nope.
No,
How old is he?
we don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he bought his clothes in the 1800s.
They smell like it.
Joseph, how long have you been living in town? It's been a couple of months, right? Or you've been here for a couple of years?
I'd say it's been like a few months. I've kind of gotten everything situated and established.
It's been a few months. You're living here at the thing, but what family has befriended you here in town?
Well, there's the people who live across the street, the Smiths. They
Tell me about the Smiths. How have they been treating you? I mean, what is it that's endeared them to you?
well, I kind of help their son Johnny with his history homework. Like I kind of am like a tutor for him. And I really he's a bright kid. He just needs a little extra push. I've kind of recommended books to them. And they're just a really nice family, really nice folks. They like when I first moved in, they gave me like a casserole as a housewarming present, and they're just generally really nice and
super cool. Okay, so as you guys are sitting there talking, again, you're probably in the main room of the library. You don't hang out down in the stuffy sanctum so much, mainly because you got to keep an eye on these hooligan-y teenagers who come in here.
Damn Mustangs and Madras.
Yeah, spilling coffee on your books. And also, Mrs. Smith comes in, and she looks a little bit frantic. And she's like, Joseph, or actually, Mr. Fletcher, have you seen my husband?
Oh.
He didn't come home last night.
No, I haven't seen
Hiram?
Hiram. All right.
Hiram Walker?
Smith.
Oh,
Hiram.
Smith. Okay.
No, I haven't seen Hiram all day.
He said he was going to stop by the library after work. I wonder if he's still at the shop. Let's say he's a mechanic. He works in air conditioning, heating and air conditioning. He's got his own heating and air conditioning shop.
They had air conditioning in the 50s?
Heating. They had air conditioning, but it was really only for like theaters and big public buildings and stuff.
Actually, I just saw a Twilight Zone the other night, the old black and white version, and with wax dummies this guy was keeping in his basement, and he had to have an air conditioner for that. So yes, they did.
So they're big industrial. You know how the air conditioner got invented?
Mm-mm.
It was actually there's a printing shop. I think it was in New York City, or in New Jersey somewhere. And the guy who they hired this engineer because it would get so hot and muggy that the humidity was preventing the ink from adhering to the paper. So they hired this guy to come in and find a way to remove the humidity from the air so that the ink could cure to the paper. So he created this room that would basically suck the moisture out of the air for this purpose. But after they got this thing going, that people started like eating their lunch in this room because this room was actually cool. So I think I forget his name was. It's one of the big air conditioning companies that still exists. His name is the engineer that created it, and he started going around marketing this after he discovered that this actually has a benefit of cooling thing. Started marketing it to like theaters because in the summertime no one would go see movies because it's too hot in the theater. So then they can market. Oh yeah, come inside, enjoy our air conditioning environment.
Well, that's why they call it air conditioning too, huh?
So anyway, Harron Smith did not come home last night, and he's possibly running late, but he was supposed to stop by the library, and he didn't. You did not see him last night.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen him. He didn't come home last night, you said?
Yeah, he said he was going to stop by the library and then come home a little bit early, but he didn't show up. I came over. Oh no, he should have. You guys, would have been here at that time. So I was just, thought perhaps you fellows went out for a drink, a beer, or something. And when he still didn't show up this morning, I thought I would come and inquire.
Yeah,
I'm a little concerned. Perhaps I should pop up to the police station or the hospital.
You said he was at his shop. Do you know where his shop?
You know where his shop is. It's maybe 10 blocks away.
Okay.
Hey, have you called the shop or checked the shop?
She can't leave the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't want to leave the babies.
Did he? Was he acting strange at all before he left?
I seemed a little preoccupied for the last few days, but nothing out of the ordinary.
Well, I mean, we could probably go and check out the shop for you if you'd like.
Oh, that would be so wonderful. I'd be ever in your debt. And tell him if he doesn't have a bouquet of flowers and a very good apology, he will be sleeping on the couch for the next 10 weeks.
Mama's mad.
All right, so I guess you should head over there.
All right, so you guys get over to the shop, and it is locked up. I mean, there's no lights on. The front door is locked. There's a big one of those roll-up garage kind of doors. It's down and bolted. It's a one-story flat roof kind of building.
Nothing peeking in the windows? Nothing to see?
Smith's Heating and Heating and Cooling.
So I kind of like peep in the window.
All right, so
see.
Did she happen to give you a key?
She doesn't have a key. Or she didn't offer one if she did.
Yes. So I guess I kind of like peep on the window, maybe like rap on it a little or rap on the door.
Okay, there doesn't seem to be any response. It is dark inside. You're not seeing any light from the front windows. You have been here before. You do know that the office is in the back.
All right. So I kind of walk around to the back. Is there another door back there? Or?
As you walk around the back, there is a side window that is one of those big glass blocks that get cemented together, and it has been shattered.
Uh-oh.
Ooh. Wow. Looks like something was here, something big.
Time for an investigative mystery?
Is there like any hair or something around the glass or on the floor?
There's a big hole in it. I mean, it's been busted in,
Can we get into the building now through that?
You could climb over there fairly easily. Have to help each other out a little bit, give you a little boost over, and you can get in.
Well, I suggest we go in then, because this does not look good.
No, it doesn't.
All right, so
Who wants to go in first?
Who's going first?
I'll
Who's
go
going
first.
second?
I guess I'll go.
I was going to send Andre.
Yeah, I'll just,
I know Hiram, so I should probably go in first.
All right, so you go in, and there's a short hallway that leads past a restroom, and you see there is the office door is slightly ajar, and then there's another door that goes back into like a supply room storage, where all the machine equipment and stuff is, and then there's like an archway that goes out to the front room, to the lobby.
All right, I guess open the. You said the office door is just ajar.
Yeah, it's slightly ajar.
All right,
Door is ajar.
I'll kind of slowly open that.
All right, the door creaks open, and it's dark inside the room. There's a little bit of light. It's got those like upper casement windows. These like some daylight is like coming in through streams. Like there's like dusty beams of light kind of shining on different parts of the room, but it's still very, very dim in there. And as your eyes are adjusting from having just come in from the outside, there's
Are there any unusual smells?
yeah, you smell a coppery kind of oily
blood.
smell.
That's blood.
I have a bad feeling about this.
I smell blood.
Is there like a light switch? Yeah.
There is a light switch.
All right, I go and flick that on.
Okay, the lights flicker to life. There's a big incandescent bulb with a shade in the center of the room over the desk. The desk is littered with papers, but it's one of those big high back leathery chairs with like the wing backs, and it's swiveled around facing an armoire kind of thing behind it. The armoire is open, and there's like a decanters of alcohol and glasses and cards and things like that in there.
Wow, a nice office for an HVAC guy.
Yeah. Is there like an arm or like is there any indications?
The chair it's definitely an old beat up second handy kind of chair. It's not like a super executive. Or it was maybe 100 years ago or 40 or 50 years ago, but it's definitely an older kind of thing now. So you were asking?
Is there like any indication of like a person there, like an arm or a?
You do not see anything standing directly behind him, but you can move around to the side and have a look.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and do that. Like,
okay,
hire him.
There is a form sitting in the chair as you move around the side. I guess the air movement causes the chair to slowly swivel towards you, and there is a grisly sight. A body, but the skin is gone.
Whoa.
Ew.
And we're going to end tonight's session there. It's 11:38. We'd planned to run from 9:30 to 11:30, and I have to work tomorrow. So,
Yeah, so do we.
Let's ask some questions. Did you guys learn anything new about the world?
I mean, I sure as hell did.
It's not what it seems.
I'm trying to remember what all the questions are from the sessions and the session rules. We did not solve the mystery. Did we save anybody from death or certain death?
Each other.
I think we kind of beefed
No, we
that
didn't.
with poor Hiram, but
Yeah, well, you didn't really have a chance to save him, so it doesn't count. He's the first victim in the new mystery. So, I'm gonna say you guys each get 1 XP, and of course, I think there was 1 failed roll. So,
who failed a roll?
I think it was Biff,
That was
wasn't it?
me. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's right, because you
You
screwed
know
up
what?
with the teenage girls.
Yeah, let's not mark an XP for that one because it was not a critical. There were no stakes there.
No, you're right. There wasn't. It was.
Suffer any negative consequences for it. We were just kind of seeing, how successful you would be in the stealthy.
I jinxed myself by saying how bad my charm was.
Uh,
I did.
So, but we will give everybody 1 XP for.
okay, now my I'm looking at the chart here, and mine's already sitting at 5 of 5. So was I supposed to level up at one point and
I
didn't do
thought,
it?
didn't we do that last week or the 2 weeks ago when we were in
I don't
our
know. I've
session
got
0?
5 moves here.
Yeah, I think you are due 1. So you would
Okay, so I need to make
your
it say 1. 1
yeah,
of 5
make it
now.
say 1, and you can pick. This would be your first possibility to do an advanced move. Tell you what, why don't you let's make a note here under conditions.
Oh, okay. Here it is. Yeah, I have 4 advancements, so I do need 1 more.
All right. Oh, okay. So you need 1 more. So you write it down what it is. If you want to choose between now and the next session, which will be in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna make a note here that I need to pick 1.
Yeah, pick 1 between now and then. If you want, I can send. You actually have a copy of your character sheet, right?
I think it's in this spreadsheet somewhere,
In the
isn't
folder.
it? Yeah.
I think that the folder. Let me see the folder. I did not put the character handouts in the folder, but I will because I have the ones, or you can download them from Evil Hat. They're in the resources.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I know maybe it's the PDF.
Yeah, because I meant to share those. So think about what you want to pick for your next move. You're now significantly higher level than pretty much everybody else, so I'm gonna have to see what we can do about that.
Lots of bad rolls. Well, it's because I'm the only one that's been to every session.
Yeah, that's true. And there was like 2 sessions where I don't think you could roll higher than a 4. So,
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell is going on there. But yeah, you definitely racked up some points and suffered some pain. Oh, that was the battle with the freaking the burning gas station and the army of
where we blew everything up. Yeah.
That was a hell of a battle. We had lots of freaking
Zombies.
All right, so just a quick recap. In this session, we spent most of our time doing sort of introduction and wrap up of the previous mystery, which has all of that stuff about the resurrection machine and, of course, the hand of God strike against it. Was both part of the previous mystery and part of the ongoing arc. The thing you kind of come into right at the end here with the skinned body, that is the initial clue of the new mystery that is also part of the arc, but not directly related. And of course, your little tablet is a side kind of thing, so it's not critical to any of the main mysteries, but that is something you asked for, Mike, in a previous session to start to bring that into play. So I'm doing that. One thing we also might want to think about for our next session is you guys wanted to talk a little bit more about refining how magic works.
Yes.
Like, because you wanted to do a spell or something like that.
Right.
So at the beginning of next session, let's have a quick, maybe 5-minute discussion about how magic works in this world, both in theory and mechanically, and set down some kind of ground rules, and we can work on that. Because with Joseph here in his lore library, I think you have a good opportunity to pre-build some spells that you can use as magic. Does anybody have anything they particularly enjoyed about this session?
I kind of like figuring out more of the stuff. That was pretty cool.
Enjoyed revealing the past to Joseph.
Yeah, that's really fun. We just every time we surprise Joseph is fun.
It's scaring him with dragging the tablet off. I won't do that again, Joseph. I'm sorry.
Yeah, nice little like character clash of
right. It was,
the younger in your face type character compared to the like careful librarian.
Well, yeah, because Biff is actually a teenager.
Yeah, and I'm like 35, but I'm also like really meticulous about stuff.
Yeah,
of course, you're a librarian. It kind of goes with the territory.
I think Biff started out as a teenager, but I think he's in his early 20s now. I think we established that at some point. He's a very, very young adult. So, because both he and Saffron had graduated high school and had met in college, if I remember correctly. So, anyway, we can sort that out. anything that you guys thought could have gone better, I could have done better as a keeper, you would have liked to have seen?
I don't know. I felt like you were trying to point us in some direction, which I don't know which way it was, and that's why you had to throw in the Hiram thing there.
Yeah, I was a little confused with that, but
I'll be honest with you. I came into this knowing what I want the next mystery to be, but I had a lot of trouble getting this there. So I really wanted to spend some time on the device and kind of introduce Joseph into the backstory so that we're kind of more tightly meshed, which I think we accomplished really nice. Mm-hmm. But then once I got rolling with that, I had trouble trying to figure out how to skip or how to introduce the new mystery, because I was like, okay, we keep finding new things to talk about with regards to this old thing, and you guys are like in the library. I'm like, how am I going to get them somewhere where they can discover this body? And I thought, you know what? I could just have somebody from Joseph's backstory come in.
See, I wasn't sure that we were actually done with the other mystery. Okay, that the destruction of the big werewolf was actually the big boss, and we were done with that,
Well, keep in mind there's a difference between a mystery and an arc. So if you think about this as a season of a TV show, the werewolves were like a 2 or 3 part episode arc, but that's part of a larger arc, which began with you guys being set back in time.
Yeah, and see, we haven't figured out how to. I think we need to somehow write down everything that's happened in this whole thing so we can keep it all straight.
Or you can just figure it out as you go along. But I will try to gently guide you guys in the right direction. But I don't like to run games on rails per se. I like to throw out lots of little tidbits and let you guys follow where you want to go. I know what this monster is. I know what the next monster is going to be, and I know what the big bad at the end is. Okay, but everything else is completely up in the air. I will change it on a dime if something comes up.
I hope it's not the dragon.
I think I have an idea as to what it might be, but
we gotta talk. We have to tell him about the Clockwork Angels and about the man in the white suit and his limo and all that stuff.
God.
We know about that.
I don't think my character even really knows too much about what the priori is.
No, you wouldn't yet. I mean, well, of course, we're kind of still discovering that ourselves as we go. It gets fleshed out more and more, and with the demise of Bill Dalton or Alex, we've kind of lost contact with the whole agency, which was like the scientific half that split off.
There's a phone number we can call. That's all I know.
Yeah, this. I mean, I wasn't really planning on the team like becoming based out of 1953. In my original plan, you guys were going to spend some time in 83 and then go to 1953 and then back to 1803. But, we just suddenly ended up stuck in 1953, which is fine because it's actually turning out to be very interesting. I love working in like little historical tidbits into the whole thing. I just really dig it.
Well, it's interesting because did they have this in the 50s? Questions,
like, 3 times this episode, I have looked something up just to make sure. It's like,
oh, well, I'm glad you're doing it.
I was like, oh, wait a minute. Was Joseph in the war? When did the war end? So before I actually even mentioned it, I did a quick search to say, oh, yeah, it ended like 7-8 years before this. So, it made sense that he might have been involved there. The part of me wants to tell you guys what was up with that machine. No. Part of me doesn't want to because you guys might figure it out for yourself at some point. So I'm just going to let it sit. You guys can.
You just keep throwing hints out there, okay?
Yeah. I don't know if you'll run into that particular thing again. So we'll see. I mean,
I have a question for you. Sure. I see you penciled in Yancey under Alexander and Walton. Does that mean you want him to sub in that way, or should he create a new character to go along with this?
No. What I was going to do is I copied Alexander Lifeson / William Dalton to another page, sheet 9, and then I was going to use that column for his character by just deleting stuff. And then I decided, you know what, I'm not going to delete anything because then I won't know what field goes where. So I thought I'd just leave it till he got here, and then we will put him in that position on the page. So,
I see. Okay.
So it'll go Biff, Mithril, whatever his name is. If Lucifer doesn't join next session, then he's out. I actually like this core group of 3. I think it works really well. I'm not opposed to 4 or 5. If we get past 5, though, it gets a little hard to manage. So, and the next session should be a lot more action-packed because you're kind of on a path. There's still likely to be a lot of little tangents because one thing I'm trying to do as a keeper is more tightly integrate elements from the arc into the mystery itself, rather than like little bits before and after, if that makes any sense. In all of our previous mysteries, I've introduced like a little clue here or a little clue there, or some major event after the mystery. I haven't actually worked anything into it. So in this particular session, I have the end of a mystery, I have the start of a mystery, I have a tangential element, which is your hollow earth theory that could maybe lead somewhere, and then I have the whole introduction of Joseph and the library and all that. Now I'm really enjoying the you guys bringing him up to speed, but I also think that I want to keep enjoying that, so let's not bring him completely up to speed too fast. So
I'm curious, did you have the meteor pre-planned, or did you develop that during the session?
Let's just say that is the result of something you guys did.
Because we blew it up?
No, actually, it has nothing to do with you blowing it up.
Well, I mean, because we sealed it off instead of destroying it?
Nope.
No? Oh, interesting.
I really thought you guys would have
because we didn't destroy it.
No,
Michael did. No.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it got smoked really hard.
Yes, it did. I guess that's something I should mention. I think I might have mentioned it to these guys, but I know Denny hasn't heard this before. At least I don't think he has. This is a Monster of the Week game. I am running Monster of the Week rules and everything, but I'm incorporating a lot of lore and fiction from World of Darkness, particularly the God Machine Chronicles and Demon the Descent. Ever since I ran my very first Monster of the Week game, I have been incorporating elements from World of Darkness because I really, really love that system's backstory. All of the rich world that is portrayed in all of their fiction. However, the mechanics of that system are a bit clunky and less story driven than Powered by the Apocalypse games are. So I like this system and I like its lore, so I have mashed it together to make my own little thing. But
Okay.
The God Machine is not my own creation. It is White Wolf's creation. So, but I really, really like the idea.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not really familiar with all this stuff, so it'll be all new ground.
Which is cool. I
for me,
like
so-
figuring the stuff out as we go along. So,
Mhm.
we'll find out more about what happened there, why the timing, and why the destruction and all that in the upcoming sessions. If you guys pursue that, so
Yeah, I mean that's how Monster of the Week works, right? Like there's in the shows and stuff.
I know I'm dying to tell you, but I'm not gonna.
Sounds good.
Right,
So is this next session going to be next week or the week after?
I'm gonna say 2 weeks because I want to prepare a little more for the next one because it's going to be, we'll be in the meat of it. This time I had, I knew I wanted to do follow up at the barn with all that sort of thing, and I wanted to introduce the new monster and learn a little bit more about the town and everybody's position in it. And I had thought about if Rick had showed up to try to resolve the situation with the abode. His sanctum. It's basically a sanctum like yours, only it doesn't have any of the extra features. Just a safe place for the party to headquarter. I wanted to kind of resolve some of that, so I didn't plan a whole lot for the session, but as we get into the meat of it, I need to do a little bit more planning, especially with regards to locations and NPCs. So, I'm going to say 2 weeks. After that, we may go weekly if you guys want to, because this time slot works pretty well for me.
Yeah, me too.
It's good for me too.
Yeah, it's. Yeah. All right. Well, I gotta get to bed because I have to wake up super early tomorrow.
Yeah, sorry guys, we are like 15, 20 minutes over, but we will try to keep it tight, and 9:30 to 11:30 next time. It'll be in 2 weeks.
Sounds
All
good.
right.
All
Sounds
right,
like a
good.
plan.
Talk to you
Bye,
later.
everybody. Thank you.